Hey guys, I hope you're all doing wonderful today. Um, we have a group gathering on Friday, and if you'd like to register to join, you can do through you can do so through one of my communities, whether the Facebook or the Patreon. So yeah, I just love the groups. They're donation based, so just give whatever you're able to, if you're able to give. Uh, and it feels like something part of me would just want to host a group every day. Like, I just love them so much. We meditate or just kind of sit in silence and really listen to the silence and rest for the first 10 or 15 minutes. I usually say some things that the container or like that the divine wants me to say, as far as helping us deepen into beingness. And so that's how we kind of land there together. And then I open the floor up for sharing, and you can share whatever you want. You could even come forward and just sit in silence, and you maybe just want to be seen. You don't want to talk. Who knows? It's your guys' space. I love holding the space, hosting the space. It's literally my new favorite thing in life. Like I said, there's this part of me that would host one every single day. But I try to listen to the divine and how much she wants me to kind of offer those containers. So anyways, you can sign up by joining Facebook or the Patreon. Okay, today I want to answer a question that I feel really qualified to answer, and it's all about, basically, I'll just read the question. That's probably the easiest way, right? Can you speak on living too much in the feminine? Yeah, so the first thing I'll say, too much in the feminine to me is like you're getting pulled by like wanting to chase pleasure like a lot, right? There's nothing wrong with pleasure, of course. But a lot of, for me, like when I'm talking about the shadow of feminine, it to me is like going off into distraction like a lot. The unwillingness to be present with what's here. That's kind of the shadow of feminine. And that's why for our feminine natures, and you can look at this yin and yang too, but I'll just say it like this. For our feminine natures to really blossom, they need a really good masculine container. So for example, when I'm feeling like I'm in the most balanced between my yin and yang or feminine and masculine, it's when I've created a really good masculine container for my feminine energies to thrive in. And feminine energy to me is like playful, creative, flowing, joy, just like whatever, what my hands are doing. It's just like feminine dance, And we all have these energies within us. But for those to really thrive, I know from my own self, I have to create a good container. And that, like a masculine container. Excuse me, I actually had like a lot of noodles and they were really good. And that masculine container can look different for everyone. For me, it's setting really good boundaries with like dopamine, like technology, with my phone, which can be hard because, that's how I earn my living is talking through those kind of mediums. Setting boundaries with social media. I just make it like setting boundaries with like YouTube and watching videos and going into distraction and things of that nature. And this makes it so that I'm being present in my own body and so that I'm here, that I'm present. Like the feminine shadow, like I said, is like almost like it can pull us out of our body, can pull us out of right here. Like there's been so many times I've like the shadow feminine, like a really simple way to say it is like chasing something. It's like chasing love, chasing validation. I know those are things I've done in the past, and been a big part of my growth and evolution is kind of leaving myself to chase something that I think will feel really good. And maybe it does initially, right? But just because something feels really good in that way, it doesn't mean it's like in our highest alignment. And sometimes we just have to go do those things and learn ourselves. And that's fine. But that's kind of, for me, the shadow side of feminine is getting kind of carried away with the emotional energy, letting it kind of pull us into things that maybe aren't our highest or aren't good for us. And everyone has their own take on this. This is my perspective. So take what helps you and kind of leave what doesn't, as in every video that you watch or that I make, etc. So this is how I look at it. So going too much into the feminine can be kind of like that. And let me read the rest of the question. I used to be very forceful and action-oriented in regards to myself. And on realization, I wonder if I swung too far on the pendulum and over-prioritizing rest. I would love to hear your perspective. Thanks for your light. So this can be one, I typically don't look at masculine, like masculine is taking action, of course. But for me, when I have the good masculine container, what that does is it just helps me be in my power. It helps me be present. And I notice when I'm in my power and I'm in the present moment and I have this, and I have really good boundaries and I have this really good masculine container, I can't help but take the appropriate action at the right time. Action just happens all of its own. It's not something I have to say, okay, I got to make a YouTube video at this time every day, or I got to do this regimen. Some people might thrive with that kind of relationship with routine, but for me, I have to leave it really open so that that part of my life really open, of like, I get to share whenever it feels aligned. And that way my feminine energy can really come forward, like, because we kind of share from the feminine in a lot of ways too, because it's like, that's the play, it's expression, it's art. And so what I've noticed is having that masculine container. I look at masculine less as like, I gotta do this and that at this time and this time every day. I just look at it as more like, am I having do I have good containment? Because when I have good containment, I can't help but show up and give my gifts, like pretty consistently and when it's aligned. Like aligned action happens as a byproduct of having good masculine containment. Like you said, if I notice when I'm trying to force action, I don't get the kind of like the energy of it is not as powerful because I'm not aligned with the universe, right? It's more ego. And so that is the shadow masculine. The shadow masculine is force, is like trying to impose your will on life, right? And it's like, we can all do that to a certain point, but then as you evolve more and more on the path and you get more merged with the universe's will for you, it's almost like you can't do it. It's like super exhausting. It takes such a great act of will to go against the universe's will for you. You can't impose your life on, or you can't impose your will on life as much anymore as you get more refined and surrendered into the flow of the universe. And so, yeah, I've definitely played in both shadows, and I still will from time to time, because we're all a work in progress, and I'm always getting more and more refined and more attuned to the highest action in every moment, or more and more attuned to balanced action. And so I wanted to say that, like, we can get, we can sort of think that the masculine is just all about action, but masculine for me is about containment. And then when you have good containment, it's like the feminine can then blossom and flourish, and then that you can be sharing from that energy, which is expansive and it's inspiring. Whereas when we get into that shadow masculine of force, it feels kind of dead and it's like constricted and it's just like, ugh, I felt it a lot before. I used to have these things, I gotta do that, make a video every day, but at a certain point, it's like the universe wasn't supporting it. And actually the shadow masculine leads to burnout, and you'll burn out every single time. I've burned out every single time I've gotten in the shadow masculine. And then, like you're alluding to, we have to swing way over into the feminine to kind of recover. And so that's normal too sometimes. So if you've been living in the shadow masculine in force for a long time, you're gonna need to prioritize rest for a good while, because the pendulum has to swing to kind of balance out. And I've done this so much. I've just way over here into the way too much masculine, and then I have to go way over into the feminine. Then I just would swing, but over time, I can feel myself kind of doing this, getting really just this harmony where there's a synergy. Chill's saying that, and they're both working together and amplifying one another. And that's the beautiful thing. When you really embrace the healthy feminine, it helps you be more in the healthy masculine, and vice versa. Like I said, the masculine containment creates this environment where your feminine can flourish. And it's a beautiful thing. But for a while, you may need to rest, and it could be a long while, because a lot of us have been in the shadow masculine for so long, because it's so culturally conditioned for us to be so, especially here in the West, that we're just exhausted. Like, our nervous systems are fried. That's why so many people wake up to this knowing they have chronic fatigue. So you may have to do that for a while. But what I would say, make sure you're actually resting. Resting is not scrolling as much as we wish it was. It's just not. So I would say let the healthy masculine containment come in, and make sure you're giving yourself actual rest, which can feel like doing nothing. Like, intentionally doing nothing is deep rest. And it can be boring, it can feel meaningless, it can feel blah. But that's the healthy masculine, is the willingness to be with those inner states, because that's where the rest is. The void is like a great place to rest. If you're not distracting and going into the social media, watching video after video on the phone. There's so many places to kind of go into the shadow feminine these days, right? And so we want both to work together. And for you, I would say good containment, and then rest as long as you need. And your energy, your life force will tell you when it's time to take action when you have the good containment. You won't have to worry about it, like making yourself do it. It will just be it will just happen through you organically as your body gets to this place where it feels rested enough. But make sure you're getting the rest and being in that healthy masculine, and allowing yourself to feel those feelings of like maybe numbness, boredom, dullness, that's why we go distract, because that's the shadow feminine. It just wants to feel all those yummy feelings all the time. But the healthy masculine creates the space in the container where we're willing to be with ourselves, no matter what's here. And that's actually when the healthy feminine can flourish. So yeah, I hope this video helped you guys. Would love to see you guys on Friday at our next group gathering. It's an honor to serve in that way. I just love seeing you all there. And other than that, sending you so much love. Namaste.